Rick, go ahead and say it.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, West Katanning Borough Council meeting, Monday, March 5th, 6:30, here at the West Katanning Municipal Building, being audio taped by Carly, and the leader times here.
And Michael Kunzman.
Any public comments?
I'm recording as well, just so you know.
You don't have to wear everything.
We have Ted Willis.
I have some pictures for you to look at. These are views out of my back window towards my neighbor's house. The problem down there is garbage. The people moved in before Thanksgiving and haven't had garbage pickup since they moved in. I went and talked to the landlord. He was the back apartment working on it, and he said he'd take care of it. But not much has changed since I talked to him. That was 2 weeks ago, and that's why I'm here. He must have talked to them, but they started getting garbage collection last week with Waste Management, and Waste Management only take 3 bags. They have 20 or 25 bags piled up next to their house. There is and loose garbage, you can see the empty boxes, beer boxes, pizza boxes blown all over the yard. Especially last Friday, we had that high wind. Most of it ended up in my yard. I hauled it back over. As you all know, West Katanning had a skunk problem last year, and this isn't going to help. They covered up the garbage bags with a tarp so you can't see it from the street. I didn't take any pictures of that. I didn't want to crawl on their property. That's just out my back window there. And I'm sure, you know, when we get warm weather, the smell is going to be atrocious. You know, you try to take care of your own property and stuff, and then you got to put up with this kind of stuff, and I don't think that's right.
Ted, you don't have to go any further, because I'll tell you what, that's unacceptable. And we got to do something about it. We have a garbage can ordinance. We don't enforce it. We talked about it last year because, as Ted mentioned, a skunk, and it's already started.
Yeah.
Found the first hole the other day.
Yeah.
And we're going to get back into it, so
No,
we need
twice
to do
already,
something.
so.
And they have to have garbage cans.
And is there no garbage cans at all at their site?
They
At their
borrowed one off
property?
when Nina moved out, they borrowed hers. She left
Is
one
it
there.
still there?
Well, it makes no difference.
Yeah.
There's one garbage can and all that garbage.
You know, I got a problem that, you know, the guy next door on the other side is trying to sell that property. The other day I seen somebody pull in there and they get out of the car and walk around the house and right back in the car. They didn't go in the house. They seen that pile of garbage. I pity him. There's no way he's gonna sell that place with that pile of garbage there.
Do we know, like, do you know if they have waste management? Like, do they have a garbage?
Well, the truck stopped there last Wednesday or Tuesday morning.
But isn't it true that if they pay more, they can have that all taken at the same time?
Well, I think that's part of the problem. I don't think they have much, you know. And that's another thing. I believe these people were Section 8 housing, and I don't think there's any room for that up here, and I don't know if there's anything you can do about it, but you know what comes with Section 8 housing, so.
I mean, we can check in with
It's all through the housing.
the housing authority and see if there's something that they can do. I mean, you think they have to.
I mean, there's nothing the borough can do to keep it out of here?
I don't think there is. We have Section 8 through the board. They're not the only Section 8. We've had Section 8 in the board for over 20, 25 years.
You know, there's 30-some apartments down the street here. what's gonna happen in another 10 years when you can't fill those apartments? You know what's gonna happen there. So,
I personally think the board needs to send our police officer down there, the mayor, and have them cited, give them 2 days to get rid of it, stop going to 2 days to get cited.
I don't really wanna see them fined or anything, but, you know, because I know they don't have anything. But, something's gotta be done, so. Thank you.
Well, thank you for bringing that to our attention. Thank you all for coming tonight, really appreciate it.
And in this, this goes back to why we have a problem with spending so much.
Yeah.
Madam President, I'd like to ask the mayor to please do that, handle that right away. You know, your police department has a small area.
Do you know what address that is? Do you know the address?
I don't know yet. What's that house number?
What's that?
House number?
303.
Well, is that Nita's old place? Is that Nita's old house?
No. I'm guessing it's at the house or is it the apartment there, that, over
The house in the front.
the house in the front? Okay, 303. Is that White House? It parallels his fence.
Thank you, Ted. Does anybody else here have anything else to say, to add to that? All right, we're gonna continue on. Allison Morris?
Hi, I'm looking into doing a walk for diabetes. It would be with the Americans with Diabetes Association in Muscatine. As you all know, my father, Ed Morris, he was a council member for many years. And the reason he passed away was from his diabetes. So we want to do a walk in memory of him and in memory of anybody who's passed away and is still living with it and help raise money throughout the community. I just wanted to get maybe an approval, because we'll have to use the streets, of course. That's about it.
I think she wants to get in touch with Mickey to see if she can use the fire hall, maybe have a gateway.
I've already talked to her about that. Towards the end, yeah.
And will the fire department work with the streets on that? Like, how do we?
Well, same thing we do with the run for the church. I mean, we
Okay.
can, you know, we can try and get some guys stationed in some of the corners and, you know, so we can work with it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So we'll work on a date with Mickey and then she'll, of course, you know, we'll figure out a date and we'll move forward with that.
All right, thank you.
We're looking at it. Are they looking at it or we're looking at it?
She's looking into it. She asked me to help
We
her.
were thinking of August 11th, possibly.
August 11th.
So that's tentative for now.
When's your run?
September.
Also,
September 11th. I'll say that.
A month away.
The big thing is we need to figure out the date soon, because to set up the whole walk, I need to know the date.
Yeah.
So hopefully within the next month
As
or
soon as
so.
Mickey gets back,
Okay,
we'll communicate with her and we'll get that date for sure.
all right, perfect.
She'll be back.
She said she was.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, motion for minutes. Has everybody read the minutes?
I'll make a motion. Second.
All in favor? Second, all in favor?
all right.
Mayor's report.
Both policemen are on training tonight. I didn't get no paper from them at all, so I'll probably have one meeting now.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just report something here? I don't know if you're aware. My neighbor Colin McMillan, there he came to my door on February 20th requesting permission to shoot a pellet gun in his backyard. There's a fence blocking everything, no sound, it won't go out of his yard. He said his mother called the game commission and said permissible within 100 feet to be able to shoot this particular pellet gun. He was going around to all the neighbors to get their permission for him to do that.
I think there's an ordinance that says you can't fire no pellet gun, no BB gun, no bow and arrow shooting, no discharge of any type of weapon.
Okay, he called it a pellet gun. At a park, he's shooting at a park. Yeah, whatever, ordinance.
There is an ordinance on it.
Probably not in there, because it's been since.
Oh, okay.
I remember the one, he's at Harrison Street, and the guys were shooting guns or arrows or something, and neighbors complaining, and I think we had to do it. year.
on my house, yeah.
Who was it that asked you? Did you say that? I'm sorry.
Colin McMillan, his mother is Mia. Now, the game commission gave me permission, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that is our ordinance.
That's if you go out in the country.
I just wanted to bring that.
Now, when they're saying pallet, is that like the little plastic ones, or is that the little the metal pallets?
I didn't see it, I didn't see the value of the pallets. You know, he just gave me a ordinance and got that. So I'll get word to him that that is not permissible.
Thank you. Any committee reports, buildings, public works?
As everybody probably noticed that Harrison Street was excavated for a week. He had a 24-inch sewer collapse. We replaced 32 feet of terracotta pipe that had been in there since 1917. It has seen its better days. We replaced it with 24-inch corrugated plastic. We just finished it up today, cementing either end into place. I won't blame anybody, but 34 years ago, when the sewer lines was put in, they went over top of our sewer and broke it out. This is the only thing that, we're not blaming them directly or indirectly for it, but when we got down in there, we found what they call tin whistle pipe. It's corrugated tin. And our pipe was not there. They replaced it with that pipe. And in 34 years, the bottom of that pipe had already rusted out. So you figure in 34 years, the pipe rusted out. We have another project which we're looking into where the pipe was put in the 20s. And we're gonna do almost over 1,000 feet. And it's tin whistle pipe also. So you figure in 34 years, if this short section of pipe rusted out, what is all the rest of this pipe in condition? Because we've already had a couple of cave-ins on that pipe, what we're looking into replacing later on. But we're looking into some help and grants and so on. And it's going to take a little bit of time. We're just crossing our fingers that we don't have any major problems where this other line runs. But right now, Harrison Street is completely taken care of. All we've got to do is asphalt it come summer, and we'll be in good shape. And we also have a drain line over on Nixon, draining the springs in a Rupner plan. We are going to work on that as soon as we get some decent weather and some of the springs dry up a little bit, because it is putting out water at a rate that we wouldn't be able to say bail it or pump it out. That's how much spring water is coming in off of that hill over here in the Rupner plan. But we're going to go ahead
And that is the response to Mr. Masters.
Yeah.
And he was in touch with him, knowing that with this rain, we just can't attack it. He was aware of it, they're fine with it, they know what we're going to work on.
And the third one is over here on Northern and, was that Carter? What? Carter. We've known for years that the water comes up through the cracks in the road. We're going to investigate that to see if it's a spring that's coming up in there. When it really rains, water just profusely comes out of where the two asphalts are butted up against each other. And Rick has been down there, well, he was down there Sunday, scraping it and putting salt down on it because it was nothing but a big sheet of ice. That's another one of our priorities that we're going to take care of. So as soon as we get some decent weather long enough, we'll get to all this. But that's all I have right now.
Okay, thank you, Henry.
Harrison Street, is that near that stereo property?
We're
No.
Gary Bowser, Gary Heston built new house.
Oh, under there.
Yeah.
Was it problem that Mr. Strayer over on Harrison Street was complaining about the water in the basement.
That is his problem, not our problem.
Okay. I didn't talk directly to him.
No, I
This is
have.
just secondhand information, but I thought, you men were working on that area last summer.
Last summer, we
So-
rectified that problem, and he put French drains in around his house, and there is still a problem with surface water from his own yard going into his house. Because all the rains that we've had prior to when he called me 2 or 3 weeks ago, every time it rains, I've gone up there and rode that street, sat there and watched the water flow. And he has a water problem in his front yard, and I called him and talked to him about it. And he's gonna get an excavator in sometime to go ahead and see what they can do.
So he's been informed.
He's been
his
informed
responsibility
very
is-
well.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Paul, I just want to add to Henry's comments on this Harrison Street, where he said we're not going to blame anything or anyone that happened 34 years ago. We know what occurred, we can tell by the construction, that if we do not have a member of our Public Works, to the board, and a member of our Water Authority, and or, at these construction sites, they will shortcut. It's very important that when we're doing construction, when other companies on board, we need somebody there to keep their eye, because they're there to make money. This was actually a shortcut, fix something that wasn't fixed properly. I can tell you from being down there, and especially Henry, because he was down there probably about the whole time, as was Rick. Rick's is actually off, and the whole time, and it is fixed properly. And this is through the whole borough, because if you remember those tin whistles I had here, some of them had pipe thrown in as a temporary fix, which became the permanent fix. And if we have to, if we're gonna do it, let's do it right, let's save money in the end.
Well, you have to have somebody there to
Yes.
oversee it to make sure that it is done properly,
That's correct,
going forward.
that's correct. And that's what we need to do as a board, have someone there,
And we will.
and we will.
Absolutely. Thank you. Does anybody have any comments regarding that? Finance,
No, no.
personnel? Shade tree, Nancy?
I did have one call on February 15th from the Spot Factory about a property in Pine Hill that is for sale, and his daughter is considering buying it, but she will not buy it unless she's permitted to remove pine trees. Well, I found out that they are definitely in that yard up against the house, so I told him that she would be permitted to just do whatever she wants to do as long as his trees are in her backyard.
Is that the one, which house is that?
He didn't give me an address, but it's on Pine Hill Road.
Okay. All right,
Mhm.
thank you.
So we didn't have to follow through with anything with that property.
Thank you. Again, special projects, did you have anything with the special projects? Okay.
Nothing.
Police, no. Mickey's not here for Crime Watch, and we'll go forward. We need to do an executive session. Does anybody have anything to discuss with personnel or? How about unfinished business? Nothing? Any new business going forward?
Yeah. We've got to rectify a problem, or at least what I believe is a problem from Lincoln Avenue. I got a call for a complaint up there about the parking issue as you enter Lincoln Street from Pine Hill. Lincoln Street is the street where you turn in Pine Hill on that little side. Some might call it an alley, it's actually a street. That is a 20-foot right of way. There's cars parking at the left side, right at the bottleneck. And the person who's parking there has a wall for the property. He has to park 3 foot from the wall because it's one way going south. When he parks there, because he's going south, it's on the driver's side where the wall is. So he parks 3 foot from the wall so he can open his door to get out. Therefore, it bottlenecks and it's hard for people to get through. We can't get the plow truck through there at times. And certainly, we're not gonna get a fire engine through there. That becomes a hazard. We do have Banks and Engineering on Pine Hill doing work for the water runoff project that we're looking into, and they're doing the surveying now. I had them go up there and locate the point for me. We found the point, and the edge of the wall, and if not the wall, and it's not that it's a problem, it's on the border right away, but it's been there for years. I can't see where it's gonna move. But we need to draw some lines up there and put a no parking sign. It's the only way we're gonna keep that bottleneck out of there. I'm also told that being a one-way street, people are coming in from the other end, and that's illegal. I'm also told that there's supposed to be no parking on the right-hand side. So through the help of Mr. Morse, we found out there was never any ordinance for no parking on the right side. So it could be a consideration for us to do that. Some people think there is. The new people that move up there don't know the difference, so they park there. Even though they got driveways going down, they park on the street. So if you have people parking on the right, you have people parking on the left, you certainly hardly have enough room to get one car through. You're not going to get a plow truck. You're not going to get a fire engine. You're not going to get a rescue truck. You may not even get an ambulance through there, especially with box ambulances. So I believe that's a problem. The other problem is our problem. In looking up the one-way street, on record, that one-way is coming north, not south. It's marked wrong. We have the ordinance wrong, or we got the sign wrong. Now, my understanding is the ordinance that was put in to go north was later decided that the trucks, especially something like Waste Management, those big trucks, can't get in from that side. They can get out, but they can't get in. So what they did, they said, well, let's just turn it around. But they never changed the ordinance. So actually, it's a two-way street. Actually, no, it's a one-way street coming north. But people, because of our signs, are going south. So we got to rectify this problem. We either have to abide by the ordinance that it's north, not south, or change the ordinance so it's south, so the signs can remain in place. So I think
Makes
that
better sense.
I think so. Yeah, for the easement of the vehicles to get in and out. I think it has to go south, but we got to change our ordinance.
Okay.
Then secondly, I think we have to give consideration no parking on the right-hand side. My feeling is you canvass the neighbors up there and say, listen, we're going to make parking on one side or the other. What side do you want? Give them the choice. We'll take the majority. You want it on the left or you want it on the right? Because you have to remember, that's a 20-foot wide right-of-way back there about 3/4 away the street. Then it becomes 12 feet. It narrows down by 8 feet. And that fence is on the border right away.
And so is the building.
Well, probably. Yeah, it is. So, but he has a mark up there. I had the Banks and Engineering go up there and find that point for me. To find that point of reference at the corner of Hill Street and Lincoln, he had to pick up 3 more points to make sure he was right. So, I mean, it's already marked. We know where 20 foot is. We have to somehow remedy the parking problem up there. So whatever your choices, however you want to do it. I think beginning with our solicitors, look into that ordinance. Do you want to hear?
I have.
Okay.
I
And
think we just-
we're going to change
we
it from
just-
north to south, unless everybody agrees.
Okay, but you need to find out the part, we need to do it all, don't you want to do it all at one time? Parking
On which
on the
side?
right or left, so.
I think that,
Yeah.
I think we should agree.
Do we need
But
to
I'd like
make
to
a
go out
motion
there
on
and-
it?
Yeah, but you need to make a decision on right
Do
or
we
left.
need to
yeah.
make it, not yet, so
No.
we need to, like he
I'd
said,
say-
he wants to check with the residents
I
to
think,
see
you
if they
know,
think.
sometimes we do things without asking people, and we just make a, and I'm glad we do it. I'll go up there and canvass them and say, which do you want, parking on the right or the left? It makes sense, no parking on the right, it really does. However, with the exception of this car on the corner, we have to put a no parking sign up there because it's an impediment. For any vehicles want to get through there,
Is there
that is not a small.
Is there a fire hydrant anywhere near or stop sign that they're parking
Yeah, there's a
close?
fire
Yeah,
hydrant.
So are they parking far enough away from the fire hydrant?
Yeah,
They park
fire
far enough
hydrant.
away from the stop
Yeah,
sign?
it's on the other side of the street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does he have a driveway park, or is that why he's parking along the road?
Well, it's that corner house up there, he's got
It's
the whole
Hugh
front,
Hunt's house.
the whole front of the house is parked. You have two garage doors there, and they can park there.
Yeah.
Actually, you can park in that triangle down along Pineview, you got all that parking.
Well, can I add something to your
Oh,
statement?
yeah, sure.
That triangle he just mentioned is not borough property. It's Chuck Root's property. If you go up there right now, Bankston did mark on the ground where his pins are, our right of way is, where U-Heights is, and where, I don't know who lives in the old golf house going down Hill Avenue. There's a pin there also. There's only a small 20-foot right of way through U-Heights driveway down over Hill Avenue, and then 20 feet down Lincoln, so far 194 feet. So really that triangle there, which everybody uses, is Root's property, all the way out to the berm of the road. So nobody's ever questioned that and so forth for eons. So right now,
And that's all the more reason why we have to go up there and draw the lines. So we know exactly where the right of way is and where there should be no parking, keep that street open.
yeah, and if you go down to the end of Lincoln, where there's a white garage and a wood fence, that wood fence and so forth is 4 feet on the borough right of way. There's two flags right now where they surveyed, and I was up here this afternoon and looked at it, I couldn't believe that they had encroached onto the right of way that far. But they done that years ago, and nobody ever surveyed anything. The road was right there, so they built right up to it thinking that their property went that far, but it didn't. They're already over 4 feet onto the borough right of way. So
And
instead of having a 12-foot easement through there, we're lucky if we have a 10-foot easement through there.
And you could go up there and say, move your fence, but what's the sense of moving the fence? You can't move the garage. We'd have to tear it down.
Well, on this issue you're talking about, this, you guys both reviewed it, so what do you want to do? What do we need to do? Let's get moving on it. So what do you think?
Well, I think what we ought to do is determine which side we want to have parking, convey that to the solicitor, then he can do his, including.
One way, definitely doing one-way south, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
can,
everybody agree to keep it south now, the way it is?
yeah.
Whatever, you guys viewed it, so whatever
Yeah.
you've seen it.
And then the no parking.
I can remember
Let me
years
know.
back that there was a discussion on it.
Do we
We
need?
actually made
Because we
changes
did.
to
The
the same
verbiage
ordinance,
couldn't make that turn.
maybe last
That's why.
year.
I'm not standing here.
I said, I think I made changes or made additions to this same ordinance last year, was that last year? Yeah, last year, maybe the year before,
Maybe a year before I was there.
yeah. So, it's no big.
Do we need an ordinance for the no parking sign out there at the corner?
Which one? Which
The
one?
corner,
Are you
right
talking
where
about
you
the
come
same
into
same
the,
thing here?
ready to come into Lincoln on the left-hand side where the parking's occurring, that blocks the street. Because you have the border, the end of the 20 feet there, and actually encroachment of that 20 feet. Then he parks his car 3 foot away, now you're another 4 or 5, or another 5 feet on the street. You've already lost 8 feet before you get to the 20.
Well, not unless you're gonna make it like no parking on the whole side,
Yeah.
right?
Well, we're talking about no parking on the right side, this is on the left side. I'm talking no parking on that corner,
Well, if you, yeah.
on that
use
corner.
the side to
We could do like
Yeah.
for a stop sign,
Do
no
we
parking
need
more than
ordinance for
35 feet.
I don't know if you're gonna need an ordinance for that. I mean, if you're gonna do, I think that in that, do you have that ordinance? The old parking ordinance?
It's not in here.
See, that's what I said, because it was recently updated. I
Yeah.
know it's addressed in there, speed limits, and whether you can park on this side or that of this street or that street, so.
Carly has
Yeah,
a.
it's not in here.
So,
What could be done is the same thing, that's initially a corner. And it says you have to be 35 feet back from the corner. He's right on the corner, blocking that part, which would be illegal in the very beginning. We could paint,
Yeah.
spray paint a yellow line on the ground and go from there.
Well, the problem with the 35 foot, unless we can vary the footage, is if we go from that corner, and I don't know exactly where the corner of that street is, We go 35 foot, make it 35 foot, the two houses on the right-hand side can't even park there, they gotta go up the street to park. I wanted,
Do they
I
have,
was
so they have
considering-
driveways?
No.
No?
I was considering no parking sign at that wall. The wall is the impediment, not the property up front.
Okay.
It's the wall.
Okay.
But my question is, without an ordinance, how's that enforceable?
Once I said you have to have an ordinance.
How's the police department gonna enforce that? You know,
Yeah.
I can hear Bob saying something, telling us
Well, it's
now.
not, it's, you can, there's nothing in writing, it's
And
just.
how can you enforce it if someone parks there? How can you legally enforce it without an ordinance?
It's a wood wall, and if it is on our property, on poor right away, I think we should be able to just post a sign right on the wall that says no parking, ordinance or no ordinance. I mean, you know, you can put it there, if they don't pull it, then you make the ordinance.
Yeah, that's true. And you definitely have to, it has to be revised to make that one-way south.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go through this, we might as well make an ordinance to solve the problem. Why not get it done now and not and worry about it 6 months from now when they're parking there, we can't enforce it?
Can we do a variable on the 35 feet?
I don't know if you want to do that. What I'd rather have is if somebody has a map so I could see exactly what's happening, if they can get that to me,
I
and then,
brought this up, but I'm not
We can-
exactly sure.
or even a tax map, because it shows the
I can bring you a map down.
numbers. This
I
is it
have all
right
those
here.
maps.
I think, yeah, this must be the wall right here.
Where's
This is
Pine
Blue Heights
Hill?
right here. No, it's up and then it goes in. So this is 268, so Pine Hill. So that's just, that's.
This right here. And then I'll have to think about what the best way to do it would be, but it's not really that big of an issue getting something.
This.
But, you know, you're going to have an ordinance for the one-way south, especially if the one-way sign is pointing the wrong way, apparently.
And actually, there is no one-way sign.
No, it's
Only at
just
the other
everybody
end,
just-
only at the other end, it says do not enter.
Okay.
But right now, anything goes north there.
Well, then we need to
Yeah.
make an ordinance for it to go one way south.
Can we say for another month, Bob, or we need to?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Can you check into it, Andrew, and get back to us
Yeah.
by next meeting? Let us know.
Yeah.
Okay, I have something else here.
Okay.
Concerning the hockey field, they lost our signs when they were making them. So they're being remade, and we should have them by the end of the week.
Okay.
That bus going over, they're gonna fit us.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
They-
Somewhere they were misplaced.
they-
All right, back into the season of the skunks, I've noticed already 2 really strong out in the area, so I'd like somebody to make a motion to bring the company back in to set some traps to see what we can do earlier on than what we did last year.
Right now, March and April is our mating season. I learned this,
Yeah,
believe me. Believe me, March and April. And late April, middle April, May is where they deliver their pup. So, yeah, I think we have to start getting busy, but just as importantly, I think we have to do something with this
we have to
garbage
do,
can.
absolutely.
But I'll make the motion to, the company to come back in and start their trapping. Yes.
Okay, do we have a second on
Well, second.
that? All in favor?
Aye.
Do you want me to get a hold of them, or?
Either you or I, one of the two.
Up to you.
I'll call them tomorrow when I get them.
Back to your, we discussed this one other time about the garbage cans. There's an ordinance, you have to put your garbage out in the can. You know, I think we discussed it before, having some kind of little tag or something made up for the police that they can, somebody doesn't have it out, but a reminder, there's,
Thanks, a good idea.
We talked about doing that.
yeah, we talked about that.
I know, that's supposed to do that.
Do we,
We have some down now, don't we? Those
like, is
orange
there,
ones?
yeah.
Do we have those orange ones now? They might not specify.
I don't know what, I don't know if there's anything on those orange ones to, I think you can write in on there.
Let's see.
Oh, these ones here you're talking about?
Yeah.
You know,
Junk removal, oh, that's junk
Junk
vehicle.
vehicles.
There's no place that you can write in something.
No, I had door hangers made up, and nothing ever went of it, so I.
Do you have them?
No, I got rid of them.
Yeah.
you know, actually, Henry gave me one of those doorknobs. It comes on any half 11 sheet and they're perforated. All we have to do is come up with a template of what we want on it, get down there and have them made. It's a simple procedure. And then, probably have to get a minimum though, of course. And then I think what we ought to do is make that in such a way that, for example, have 4 or 5 different things on it with a place for to write something in, something comes up later, and we can always put those on the doors. That gives us a little leverage, not having new ones made, just leave an opening there for a hand notice sometime.
Yeah, I thought those ones did, but I guess not.
Do we have any type of ordinance that states that each resident needs to have a company to come and collect their garbage? Like, how do we know?
Yeah, and I'm almost, that ordinance that was passed, it's been a while, quite a while back, but if I'm not mistaken, it says in there that every resident of the municipality is supposed to have their own garbage pickup.
So if they don't, what happens? So,
It's not in the book.
I don't have the ordinance.
Nope, it's not in the
I
book.
have it somewhere.
I do too.
But usually it wasn't that book at one
It's
time.
not. I just mean,
You know, when we put the newsletter out, we put that in there about the skunks, about garbage cans. I don't know what these people done with their newsletter. They must have threw it away because
have
it's
they
the
been there
same,
since?
I went for a ride the other day, and it's the same people putting their garbage out. It's the night they'll pick up in the morning, and you'll see garbage bags all over the place.
I just picked one up off the middle of the street on Harrison Street, threw it in the pile she had there.
It's just,
So there you go, we need to go around and if those people need to be addressed.
If you don't mind, I'd like to get down to one of the print companies with that and come up with a sample for us to look at, see what you think.
Print company down in Katanning.
Yeah, that's where I go.
that's where I
Yeah.
got the information.
Yeah. I have the ordinance down home.
These have it in their ordinance book.
Well, the police have it in their ordinance book.
Andrew has it.
There, you know, we can put a couple of these right on that. Door hangers are nice because they're easy to put on the doors. So that's a good idea. Door hanger.
Add all that to it and,
Well,
And a couple lines.
these are good for place too. I wouldn't get rid of them.
no, don't get rid of them, but you can
Might not
add.
add all of them, you know, like junk vehicle, to me, that's a police officer, dangerous structure, police officer. But we'll put a few on here, snow removal, big good one, to remind them, they gotta do
Grass
something.
clippings.
Grass clippings, and the door hanger is convenient. All right.
Motion to pay the bills?
And by the way, this says we have 40 hours to make the contraction. And that's a good idea, we okay with that on the garbage also, 48 hours?
That's who I use.
They're wonderful.
Yes, they are.
Shoot, who did you say?
Schumacher.
That's who I have.
They're absolutely
But
wonderful.
They take everything.
Don't take anything I said out, grass clippings, leaves, it doesn't matter, they take it. They're wonderful.
Agreed. Yeah, they're cheaper. Motion to pay the bills. Has everybody reviewed them?
What's up with the GMC trucks? Did we talk about that? Get the radiator fixed, is that the stuff?
It had a leak in it.
Okay. I make a motion to pay the bills.
Ernie Junior. All in favor? Any letters to be read?
Just a reminder then on the letters that we got, by the way, the email, there's a meeting, they do want our STP, they have enough packs available February 28th, or March 7th rather, for the on blight task force. I think it's important for our borough. I know Henry's going, I know I'm going, but if anybody wants it, can. All you have to do is call down there, down to reserve the spot, they'll just have enough packs. It says 28th, but I didn't do mine March 2nd, she said it was fine.
All right.
Henry, do you want to talk about the mitigation?
What did you say?
You want to talk about the mitigation plan?
Oh. All right, there's a meeting on, it was first conceived in December 29, 2014, and every 5 years they have to go ahead and re-plan the HMP plan term. And they have this coming up on March 14th up the Belmont complex. Every municipality in the area has an input of how they would take care of any kind of hazardous downpour, fire, or whatever else. They're doing a composite plan. And they have to do it every 5 years, and they want everybody who has anything to say or has been in that kind of situations, so they can draw a new plan for the next 5 years. And if anybody is interested in going, I will probably go on around. It's a party that probably should go.
When is
Are
it?
you gonna invite me?
I'm not, send the email.
I'm not
Send
going
it.
to, I'm sorry. But it's a hazardous material mitigation plan to be set up for the next 5 years, so it would be up till 2023. It'll take in those 5 years. So, if anybody's interested or wants to know what hazardous material can do to you, how it can be disposed of, it'd be interesting to go to, if you've never, you know, some people may never know what hazardous material really is. You know, even a tablespoon of salt can be hazardous material.
Would it benefit our street personnel to go, or at least
Well, I can
maybe,
talk to Rick.
maybe the new just Rick, you know, because they're gonna deal with it sooner or later, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Good idea.
it's a 2-hour forum, so it's from 6 to 8 in the evening.
What's the date again?
The 14th
March
of March.
14th, coming up
At the Belmont complex,
from,
in Belmont.
6 8.
would you want to copy?
I have it, I just didn't know what the date was.
Do you want to give that to Rick? Where's the information on it?
All right.
'Cause I
There
know-
is
I
no,
won't
we
be
didn't
around.
have to RSVP for that, we just
No.
go. Okay,
But I'll call anyway.
okay.
When are we gonna be back in full force on our street committee? Are we gonna street?
Another, at the end of March. Periodically, he is used.
Yeah, oh, I know that, yeah. I just-
But the full-time will be back at the end of March.
All right, anything else? Anybody else like to add anything? Motion for adjournment?
So maybe,